Welcome to today's episode of the Losing Weight to Gain Control podcast. This is Gwen Alexander, your host. And today we have a special guest with us. We have Joshua Ford, and Joshua is the CEO and co-founder of HipTrain. As the son of two teachers, he is passionate about creating more affordable and accessible wellness services for people of all income levels. Prior to starting HipTrain, he was an early employee and served for 3 years as head of global business development at Candid, a venture-backed company focused on making oral health care more accessible and affordable. He previously led strategic partnerships in Latin America for Uber. He also worked for the White House, FIFA, and both South Africa and Brazil, IBM, Endeavor, and the Gap Partnership. He has served on the board of trustees for the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership International, and also the East African Children's Education Fund, the Dare to Dream Travel Scholarship, and the Broughton Travel Fellowship. Joshua was a Fulbright scholar in Mexico, where he researched entrepreneurship in emerging markets, and was a Moorhead King Scholar in the honors program at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he earned his BA in Global Studies. So Joshua, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you've been a busy person over the years.
I was sitting here thinking, man, this makes me feel real old.
No,
your listeners are probably like, she's got a 95-year-old guy on this podcast. So
no, I like people to share what they've done, because then that gives the listeners the idea of you're not just all food and exercise. You have a whole other things too that you can bring expertise in from to help. So one of the things I like to start with is share your story with us. What brought you to the point of starting HipTrain and helping people with their weight and health and things like that?
Sure. Well, I think it started at a very young age, right? I loved playing sports. I loved, just being active in general. And then when I was 18 years old, I actually moved to Ecuador for a year before I went to university, and fell in love with Latin America and the culture there. And when I moved back to the States, I kind of said, you know what, I want to help people, and I want to figure out different ways to help people. So my whole career, I've tried to go and work for companies that have made things more accessible, more affordable for people. Like you mentioned, both my parents were teachers. So growing up, we were always had food on the table, but definitely were, we weren't a very high income family. And so with HipTrain, we want to make it as affordable, as accessible, as convenient, and maybe most importantly, as fun as it can be to work out, right? And so we offer one-on-one, live, all done via video conference, so it's all done remotely, training sessions for $6.99 for a 30-minute session. So literally for less than the price of a salad, you can get a personal trainer that's going to watch you, that's going to help you, that's going to create your workouts for you, and ultimately will become a friend as you work out together and get to know one another. So I think for me, really, HipTrain started at a very, very early age. I loved working out and loved being and trying to be healthy, and then wanting to figure out ways that we could make other people healthier and enjoy being healthy.
Were you into sports a lot? I see you work with FIFA. I think that's
I did. Yeah, I loved. Yeah, exactly. So I loved soccer growing up, and I played tennis and baseball, and even ran track for a season to try to get faster for soccer. I don't know how much that worked or didn't work, but I love sports, and I still like playing sports. I like watching sports, and for me, I think sports has always been a way of working out without actually feeling like you're working out. You kind of lose yourself in the game, and I've always kind of liked that much more than running on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's one thing I like too. I used to live in the southern part of the United States, so there was no such thing as snow.
Yeah.
So when I moved, I'm in the Midwest now, and this whole snow thing is it's like I want to get outside, but it's too cold, because when it gets to a certain temperature, I'm not going. It's just
I'm the same way. I grew up in Rochester, New York, so we have tons of snow and blizzards and all of that. So although I grew up there, I have developed thin skin over the years, and I'm not a fan. And that actually, HipTrain's been amazing during the winter months. I live in New York City now, but in the winter months where it's whipping winds and it's 10 degrees outside and the ground is all gross, to be able to not even have to go anywhere and just get a great workout in, and it has actually just personally as my own customer has been really nice.
Yeah. What kind of person are you looking for, or you think HipTrain might benefit? Because as much as some people will say, well, I'm for everybody, it's not really how
Sure.
it works.
Yeah, so we have a very unique model in that when you sign up for HipTrain, we have a team of human beings that read kind of your sign up form and what you're looking for, and then pair you with the trainer that's right for you. So we've got dozens of trainers on the platform. They're all certified personal trainers. And as you can imagine, they have a really wide array of different specialties, right? So some people will do yoga and Pilates and stretching, right? And then other people will do the more boot camp, burpees and weightlifting. I do a lot of kickboxing just because, again, for me, kickboxing is a way to kind of work out without feeling like I'm working out, right? You listen to music, you punch the air, you kick the air. Like it's just kind of fun, and I the hour of session goes by really, really quickly. So, what I will say is, I don't think every single trainer is right for every single person, but we try really hard to make sure that whatever your goals are, wherever you're coming from, if we don't have a trainer on the platform, we'll go find one, right? And we'll go find someone with that expertise. So, right now we have former Olympians who use HipTrain. We have people who are working out for the first time ever, right? We have several people who have said, besides gym class in elementary school, they're 55 years old. I haven't really worked out, but they're doing it for the first time, and everybody in between. So we work with postpartum women, prenatal women. We have a couple of people in wheelchairs that we work with. And so we really will adapt to the individual. And, that's really, I think, for me, a driving force of what we're trying to do at HipTrain is we do not want to have a one size fits all approach. And, our model really lends itself to being able to be really personalized, right? You're one-on-one, you're on a video conference. There are no preset workouts that we tell our trainers, hey, do this or do that, right? They're developing them based on you and, where you're at and where you want to go.
I like that because I didn't want to use the term cookie cutter, but that seems to be the thing where it's like, if you do the questionnaire, then it just says, here's these pre-recorded workouts, do this one twice this week, or, whatever it is. One thing like that. And then you said also you help people in wheelchairs because one of the things I suffer with, I have lupus too. So I've had to modify. If I do work, I can't do these HIIT workouts sometimes anymore. And several people who have autoimmune diseases say that, they just can't do some of that stuff. So they might need a lower intensity or even a chair workout because maybe they can't stand that day. So I think,
and I think it's really important to make sure that we meet people where they are, right? And as you said, everybody has their own circumstances, right? Whether that's lupus or they have a broken foot, but they still want to do chair workouts, and they want to be upper body, or we have several people who have been cleared by their doctors to return to working out, but have recently torn ACLs or had surgery somewhere and said, hey, you know what? I just need some guidance. And I don't want the cookie cutter approach. I don't want to just the streaming thing. I don't want to just go to the gym and, try things. I want someone who's a professional who can actually, help me.
Yeah. Do you also help your clients with food goals? Like, do you have nutritionists or your personal trainers also certified in that?
Yeah. So today we don't have a standalone nutritional service. It is in the future of HipTrain. So we absolutely want to be able to offer the same thing where you get to meet one-on-one, make it really, really affordable, and get, personalized help. Of course, our personal trainers can give some advice here and there, but HipTrain Nutrition is yet to launch, but it's definitely on the roadmap, and we're really excited to bring that to the world too.
How many years, excuse me, I didn't get, how many years ago did you say you started it?
Yeah, we started HipTrain less than a year ago. So
wow.
We started in 2021. We really came out of our beta in March of 2022, and we've already done 10,000 sessions. We've really done a ton of one-on-one sessions since we've launched, but we think we'll do over 100,000 sessions very, very soon. And we're really looking forward to expanding into different things like nutrition and a bunch of other areas where our customers tell us that they really want help.
Cool. I know you said that the personal trainers that you have, they're certified personal trainers. How do you find them? Do they come looking for you, or do your clients say, hey, I like this person, can you get them on their platform?
Yeah, it's a great question. So in the beginning, we were definitely looking for them, right? And they had never heard of us. They didn't know what we were. And so we would post on job boards. And now it's kind of flipped, right? Where our current trainers will often refer people they've worked with, right? And they say, hey, they're really good. If you're looking for more people, we do have a lot of people reach out on our website. So yeah, it kind of has flipped, which is kind of a fun thing for us, where we were definitely the ones out there looking and looking and looking. And now, as we started to build a brand and started to make a name for ourselves, we're actually getting people to seek us out. And so anybody out there that's interested, we're more than happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, and you discussed the price structure. So is it the same price for
Exactly right.
everything,
So,
at least for right now?
Yeah, so right now it's the same price for everything. So it's, and that's both every trainer as well as everything that you want to do. So if you want to do a kickboxing class, a Pilates class, a yoga class, a cardio HIIT class, all of that's going to be $6.99 for 30 minutes and $13.99 for an hour. And we don't have any annual contracts. We don't have any, you're locked into 10 years or a year or 6 months or whatever. Really, you just let us know how many times a week you want to work out, when you want to work out, and then you'll be billed on a weekly basis. So, again, our whole mission is to make this as friendly as possible. And in many ways, we're kind of the anti-gym in that way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not anti-gym, but I think even years ago when I started exercising, we were talking earlier about how I like to go into my local YMCA's where we had a gym. Now we have 2 or 3 more that are even 24-hour fitness, but I still don't want to have to go through the hassle of commuting. Then, I have to bring all the clothes with me, take a shower after, and then have something to eat, and then, run to work or run to wherever I have to go. It just felt so inconvenient for me. And especially even after, we're still kind of in the pandemic with COVID, but I was wondering, are people still wanting online workouts? Because I saw where things like Peloton exploded right before or right during that time. Who else? A lot of iFit, things like that. Do you think people will still keep doing this?
Yeah, we've seen, even though people have started to go back to work and the world has started to open back up, we have seen even more people, right, signing up for HipTrain. So we've seen even more. Now, I think there's a couple things, right? One is people who want to save time, right? So kind of what you're getting after and saying, look, by the time I get to a gym, work out, shower, and get back to my home or my work, I've added an hour to my workout process, right? And a lot of people just don't have an additional hour of the day to do that. So I think, for many people, it's a convenience thing to be able to do it at their office, at home. We do have people that take us to a gym, right? They'll go to the gym and they'll do it on their phone or their iPad or whatever other tablet that they have. And so you're absolutely, can bring us wherever you want, right? But I think HipTrain also really works well for people who travel a lot for work. So we have a bunch of travel nurses, we have consultants who say, hey, I'm in a different place all the time. It's really hard to build a routine. With HipTrain, they can have that routine. So I think that ultimately online workouts are here to stay, right? I think that some people will go back and will prefer to go in person. But, I think one of the things that we've really seen is there are a lot of people who don't live that close to a gym, right? And if you live in a city like Los Angeles or Miami or New York, there's gyms every block and there's lots of good gyms and there's, it's expensive, but there are a lot of things there. But in a lot of towns, like the town that I grew up in, we didn't have a gym. Like there was no gym in the town I lived in or the town next door, right? So you've got to kind of drive 35 minutes just to get to a gym. And that's today, right? Like that has nothing to do with COVID. And I think that's actually, we sometimes forget, but there's a large portion of the world that lives, in rural or suburban areas where gym access just isn't a thing. Plus, with a gym, you also have to pay for that too, right? So there's kind of a cost piece of the puzzle as well.
So you mentioned, I was going to ask about, is it just website accessible or is there an app that like on the Apple Store and Google or Android?
Yes, so we do have an app in the App Store. Our Android app is coming, so it's not live yet, but our App Store is live. You're also able to, you're able to do it on your computer, your tablet. You can also, if you have an Android phone, you absolutely can do it on your phone. We just don't have a standalone app, so you would just go to the website and do it from the website. But yeah, so really, again, we've tried to make it as easy as possible. Whatever your device is, it'll work. And we have a lot of customers that have things like a Fire Stick or Roku or Apple TV, and so they'll actually stream their trainer up on the TV and have this massive kind of screen with the trainer, which I think is pretty cool too.
Yeah, actually, I have that now. I've finally caught up to technology with all these Nest things and, but what's nice is a lot of the trainers I do follow, they actually have an app in the Roku store. But
Yeah.
like you said, you can still stream it from your phone.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people realize what's available today to keep them active, because I remember before, well, it was 2012 or 13 when I got my first electronic device, like an iPod.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, they have free workouts on YouTube, or there's other people
Yeah.
that stream work. I don't understand why people say, I have no time to exercise. I can't
Yeah.
do this. I think, is that something where you find that when somebody does find you, they're like, I didn't know you were here. I didn't know I could do this.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's like probably the number one thing we hear from our customers is like, oh my gosh, like how come I didn't know about this, right? And I think that you're right that ultimately there are lots of different options for working out, right? Even just going for a walk around the block is better than not, right?
Yeah.
And so you obviously have things like YouTube, which are free, and there's some amazing workouts on YouTube, right? I think for us, like our aim has been for people that either need help with form, or they need help with adapting their workouts, or they just want to be pushed, right? And they just need someone to push them a little bit. And whether that's, the kind of the discipline or the accountability as a service, right? So of having a trainer, and you get to know that person, right? Like our members on average are working out 2.5 times a week with their trainer, right? And that's, again, live via video conference. So you're talking about them, you get to know their kids, they get to know your kids, they kind of, in many ways, kind of become like your hairdresser meets therapist meets workout buddy, right? And they're somebody that you actually really spend a lot of time with and develop a relationship. And that's been, I think, really fun, because I don't think when we started the business, we even really knew that was going to happen. And then when we see it, and it's a really, really like rewarding part. And, I think, unfortunately, a lot of people do feel very lonely, right? And people are getting lonelier. I think the pandemic only increased that for many folks. But I think that having someone that you can trust and that will be there at the time and place that you guys have agreed to, and you can build a relationship. For many of our clients, that's when they talk. When I called them and asked how their experience has been, that's really what they love. And the fitness part is really just the excuse to hang out with a friend, right? Yeah. And I really like that.
Well, and the price point's great too, because one of the things years ago when I started with trying to eat better was I didn't have a lot of money to dedicate to, going to the store to get the better food. And so I had to kind of improvise on that. But even at that time, a one-on-one session at the gym, there was no way I was going to be able to afford that. So when you said the price and for HipTrain, and actually you get one-on-one, I thought, well, that's pretty good. It's not a group thing, or you only get so many sessions for that amount.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that some people ask will be like, is this just a introductory, you do 2 sessions and then we're going to tell you it's $70 a session? Absolutely not. Like that is not what we're doing here. And so, it's exactly what you said. Unfortunately, we didn't invent personal training. Personal training's been around for forever, right? And if you're a Hollywood star, or you're a big CEO of a business, or you're a billionaire or a famous actor, they all have personal trainers, right? Because it's the best way to work out. Unfortunately, it's just not been affordable and available to like the average normal person, right? And so our goal at HipTrain is to say, okay, if all of these people who have unlimited amount of money have said, this is the way I work out, this is the best way, well, then let's figure out a way and a model that works where every single person, regardless of what their income is, can have that same level of kind of white glove service.
Yes. Do you also ask your clients about, I know it's one-on-one personal training, but do they guide them through, they want to say, I want to look like The Rock. Okay, nobody's going to look like The Rock. Do you help them with being realistic about their expectations of what they could find? Because that was one of the things over the years that I've learned about myself, or even other people. Even my doctor talked to me about that. He said, Gwen, this could be a healthy weight for you, even though these charts say, like the BMI chart say you should be this. He said, I don't think that's good for you. I thought, boy, I have a good doctor to start off with. But he used the example of the Olympic people that are in the Olympics. He said, do you see that not all of them are the same size, but would you consider them healthy? I'm like, well, they're these athletes. So do you try to help your clients with that also, to get their mindset to you don't have to be this specific way, and it might be unhealthy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Our trainers do that a lot. And, I think that for some people, they do want to kind of come in and say, hey, I want a 6-pack abs, in 2 weeks. And you say, well, generally speaking, nobody's going to be able to do that. Right. But I think for us, like, we want to take healthy steps. And again, like, wherever you are in your fitness journey, whether you are just starting out and this is really your first kind of time working out, or you're someone who's done 1,000 workouts in your life or 10,000 workouts in your life, we want to be able to help you get to wherever you need to be, right? And so we have a lot of people who sign up and are nervous, right? And are saying, hey, I've never really worked out. I'm nervous that someone is going to be there watching me. And we just say, look, like, that's their goals are just to help you hit your goals, right? Like, that's, if you think about what we do at HipTrain, that's what we care about. Is our job is to make you hit your goals, right? And to be supportive and to prepare you and equip you with the tools that you need. And so sometimes that may mean, recalibrating expectations and looking at, okay, why do you want that? Or how do you want to get there? And, you've already alluded to this, part of it's going to be working out, part of it's going to be sleep, part of it's going to be your mental health, part of it's going to be your nutrition, right? And so there are all different factors that are going to go into that. And that's what we're really excited for the future of HipTrain, where we're actually able to offer way more than just the fitness and exercise component of it.
Yeah. Have you ever had, and I'm not trying to say HipTrain can't help you, but have you ever had where you had to maybe tell somebody, maybe we're not the best fit for you? If they tell you, well, I want to lose all this weight in like a month because I have a wedding or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we do definitely want people to be healthy in how they do things, right? And so we don't want people to starve themselves. We don't want people to kind of push themselves into terrible dehydration, right? Like, so we definitely don't want that. We haven't had that case come up, but we have had some people who said, hey, can you just send me a plan and I'll just follow it. And that's really not the model that we have, right? So our model is that white glove service of someone who's going to be there with you. They're going to correct your form. They're going to count your reps. They're going to teach you how to do different exercises. And even for me, as someone who's worked out, I don't know, for 30 something years in a row, right? Every single time I've taught something else, right? Where there's something that maybe I've done wrong for a lot of years, or a workout I didn't know, or, I did a HipTrain session last night and I went out, it was beautiful in New York, and I went out to the park and did it. And so, we didn't have any equipment and we just did a totally different workout. And so, I think that it also just for me is about spicing things up and not just being, doing the same one over and over and over again, where, it's hard to look forward to that.
Yeah, because that was one thing back in the 80s and 90s when you would order
the tapes.
the tapes. And I thought, you got a different one every day. No, it was like, what, 5 that you're supposed to do the same 5 for 90 days or whatever it was. And I thought, well, that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because it seems like you adapt pretty quickly, especially if you do make it a routine. So I think with the streaming like HipTrain, that it will, your trainer would probably be able to say, hey, it looks like you're already at the point of you've adapted. Now we need to up your game.
Exactly right.
Push you to the next level now.
And that's what people, I think a lot of people don't understand about working out, is that you essentially have to change things up, or your body will be your body just adapts, right? Like, your body's a pretty amazing machine, really, right? It will adapt to whatever, right? And so you've got to add new things and change things. And, I know for me, even sometimes your goals will change, or you'll have a slight injury and you'll need to adapt some of the workouts, or you'll want to, work on your flexibility, right? We have several people who come onto the platform and are, spend 30 minutes just stretching and working on mobility. And that's something that I think that unfortunately very, very few people do, right? And balance, especially as you get older, your balance and your flexibility and your mobility start to go, and that's where you really experience issues later in your life. And so I think one of the things that we hope that we can help just people in general is to prioritize that, right? Everyone talks about the running and the working out and the weightlifting and all that, but really just finding time to stretch and work on mobility and work on balance. And like I said, as you get older, that generally deteriorates for folks, and that can lead to falls and lead to a lot of other health issues. And so we want to, we have a lot of people who are just kind of coming to HipTrain and saying, hey, I know I need to do this. I don't really do it. I need your help with staying disciplined. And they're signing up for that.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a good way. Like HipTrain would help somebody to stay disciplined, and where even though it's online, you still have to meet somebody. It's not
Exactly
like,
right. Yeah.
okay, yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna go to that class today
Yeah,
or pop
exactly
in
right.
that DVD today.
Well, and that's where I think the relationship with your trainer really comes in, right? Like I genuinely, and this is not because I'm the CEO of the company, but just as like a customer, I genuinely feel bad if I can't go, right? And I want to reschedule and I don't want to miss a class with my trainer. And it's because I've worked out with that trainer, I don't know, 100 times over the last year, right? Like we've worked out together for so long that she knows my dog, she knows my friends, she knows, she knows when I'm back at my parents' house, she knows when I'm, she knows a lot about me and I know about her and her life too. And so it's kind of like one of those things. If you had a friend who like knocked on your front door and said, hey, let's go for a walk or let's go for a jog or let's go play tennis, you'd open the door, right? Like you wouldn't just leave your friend on the front porch, waiting to get in.
Yeah, it's the being consistent is,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I found, excuse me, over the years is I follow a bunch of people on like, was it Facebook and Instagram, just to see what they do, what the trends are. And I still see many people thinking that, okay, I need to do this cleanse or I need to eat the kale. I do not like kale. Okay. I'm just not going there.
Yeah.
But if they would just do something that would keep them consistent, not where it's like, okay, you're going to do this for 30 days and then you'll have the weight off. And then, so are you going to keep doing that really restricted plan or those tough exercises? I mean, I don't think you probably should be doing those all the time, every day. And I still see some people with that mindset of, I need to do HIIT 5 to 7 days a week. I mean, I don't think the human body probably would kind of fall apart after that.
Yeah. I think you're right in that, it's unfortunately we kind of live in this world where everyone wants things immediately, right? Like you want, you want to lose 50 pounds tomorrow, right? And you forget that no one gained 50 pounds yesterday either, right? Like either way, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And so, I think sometimes people do these extreme things, but to your point, they're not very sustainable, right? And you can't only drink juice for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think that like if there's one thing that people really come to HipTrain for, it's help with staying disciplined and consistent, right? And they've made a choice and they said, hey, I want to gain muscle, I want to be more active, or I want to lose weight, or whatever their goals are. And they just need someone to help them, right? And I think that there's something powerful about just kind of raising your hand and saying, hey, I want to do this and I need an accountability partner, right? I need a workout buddy. I need somebody who, and look, there are always going to be days that you're going to like wake up and you're going to have a headache and not want to do it. And I've been there too, right? Where you didn't sleep well the night before, or your flight got delayed and you got home really, really late. And you get there and you said, you know what, I'm not going to do the normal work. I'm not going to do any push-ups today. I'm not going to do any crazy stuff today, but I do want to just like stretch and just move around a little bit and just sweat a little bit. And again, it's just keeping that discipline and keeping that consistency. And that's the number one thing that, that's why we're building HipTrain.
Yeah. And you also said that if somebody maybe felt like they weren't connecting with a personal trainer, that they could switch. So how easy is that process? I mean, is it you handle that, or is that something the person has to say, this isn't working out?
You just let us know and we're happy to kind of repair you with somebody. It's only happened one time, and that was just someone that like they totally changed their goals, right? So they started out doing yoga on the platform. They said, you know what, that's been really amazing. And they actually started going back to a yoga gym and they said, I don't want to leave HipTrain. I just want to work on more like weightlifting. So we said, okay, well, like actually the trainer that you have is more yoga specific. Why don't we pair? We were kind of the ones that suggested the change, but
it wasn't because they hated them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's definitely not because they hated them, but obviously we're more than happy to help and repair, and that's no problem at all. And you just let us know. And, like I said, we have dozens and dozens of trainers. And so, the good news is if you do change your goals or you do just want to try somebody else, we're happy to do that. And we even have a couple people that do like on purpose, they work with different trainers, right? So they have 2 different trainers. So on Monday, they'll work out with Daniel, and on Thursday, they'll work out with Matilde, right? And they just do that because they like the variety and they like to change it up. And so, again, really there is no, like we're the exact opposite of a cookie cutter of how we approach things. So every single person is a unique case and we'll make it work for them.
Yeah, and like you said, when you mentioned about the person, it wasn't because they didn't like the yoga teacher, they just because they wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
We were talking about as you progress, because you could start, okay, you're the beginner
Yeah.
exerciser, and you're like, okay, the beginning is not doing it for me now. Maybe you want to do weight training. You want to
Exactly right.
graduate, you might want to do a weight training show or something, which
Yep.
I have no desire to do that, but so that's a whole different skill set.
Yeah.
So sounds like your
Yeah.
platform has where you can stay on the platform, but there's someone to help you of whatever level that you're ready to go to next.
Totally right. Yeah, exactly right. And we even have people who say, hey, like, if you're with your, if you're with a partner at home, or if you're with your kids, like, they'll invite them, and that's also totally fine with us, right?
Oh,
if you
okay.
want to just like bring someone with you to the workout, and as long as you're in the same room so the camera can see them, and you're more than welcome to do that. We don't charge you more for that. Like, so we also have, I know we have a couple couples that do that as like a date night activity. So they do that a couple times a week. And, and again, our trainers are great at personalizing things. So what might be right for one person may not be the, I know in one case, one of them has a shoulder injury, one of them has a wrist injury. And so they cater the workouts for each individual, even though it's so instead of a one-on-one session, it's a one-on-two session, and there's two customers. But so again, we're really adaptable in how we work with our customers.
I like that, getting the kids involved, because when I was a kid, I would sit and watch my mom do these exercises, and I thought, I don't want to do that. So she never invited me to do it with her, but I was just like, that doesn't seem like fun to me.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's and we actually even have some kids now who their parents sign them up, and the kids just do it with our trainers. And I do think it's really important to like kind of instill some of those habits and healthy habits at a young age, right? And get people moving. And again, look at exercise not as something that's like awful and painful and terrible, but something that's actually fun. And, for me, and again, it's to each their own, but for me, exercise has always been the best way for me to like work on my mental health, right? Even though it's a physical thing, it's actually, generally speaking, if I don't work out, I'm going to be far more anxious. I'm going to be far more tightly wound that day. And you can probably tell the mood that I'm in, whether I've worked out or not worked out. And so, we have a lot of people who are doing it for mental health, and are actually, signing up for HipTrain, not so much because they want to, build great biceps or, build a six pack, but rather they're saying, you know what, I just need a stress reliever. And this is a great and healthy way to do that over other alternative ways.
And then you have the one-on-one, even though they can't counsel you, like if you're trying to get your mental health, but they can help you with that. You had, like you said, you have someone there to talk with and interact with. It's not a whole group class that one person's trying to cater to at one time.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And, you've got someone who genuinely cares about you, who, wants to be there for you, who like I said, like they really do get to know you, right? They make the Christmas card list, right? They make it's pretty normal for some people with personal trainers to, invite them to their weddings, right? Like these are people who are not just, someone that you see, to your point, not just in the front of a room leading a class, but someone who you're actually talking with, right? And you're, conversing with, and, I'll be panting on the ground doing sit-ups, and, my trainer will be asking about my weekend or my dog or whoever. So.
Yeah. That's one thing too, when you talked about the mental health aspect, I think there is a shift to where exercise isn't just about, okay, what's the maximum number of calories I can burn, especially with the whole COVID situation. A lot of what I read said, get your exercise, not to lose weight, but to help your body, just feel better, get active was the main goal.
Yeah.
And I think there's a shift, or at least there was for me a few years ago, of it's not just about calorie burn. It's about, I've had a stressful day. I've started doing my workouts actually in the afternoon lately, because I get home and, like you said, kickboxing, that's my favorite. And so I'm just kicking and punching harder and thinking about all the stuff of the day. And it's just amazing how it just relaxes you. And that's why I'm glad people are starting to finally make that shift, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's a really good shift of people being open about their mental health struggles, people being open about kind of what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And for everybody, it's different, right? And so you've got to kind of go out and find the thing that works for you. But I do think that, there's a lot of research that shows that working out can be a great antidote to mental health, and can really help you build resiliency and, relieve some of the stress and the anxiety that we all have.
And it sounds like HipTrain can be your one-stop shop for that.
Yeah. Well, look, I think it is like you're going to have a friend that you're going to, you get to know and you're going to have a relationship with. You're going to get some workout in. And again, like as your life changes or as, you have a bad day or a good day or whatever, the workouts will change, right? So you can show up to your class and say, hey, you know what? I do like kickboxing, but like I'm just not feeling it today. Right. Like let's do a yoga session or let's do this or that. And our trainers really are excellent in that. And I know that even personally, I've done that a lot, right? Where I say, hey, like, just not, I know that we have a kind of a routine that we do, and I don't want to do that today. I want to do something else. Or, hey, you know what? I'm not at home. I went to the park or I'm in a hotel room somewhere. Let's do something a little bit different. So
Yeah, you're in a hotel room. You don't want the people below you to get mad
that's
because
right.
you're jumping all
up and yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that. I live in a house, so I don't have to worry about that. But I used to live in apartments and stuff, and it was hard trying not to make your neighbors mad.
Yeah, no, it's true. I live in an apartment, and I always think about that, like when I'm jumping up and down and trying to jump kind of on a carpet or on a yoga mat, so it at least lightens the blow. But yeah, you can obviously change your workout depending on where you are.
Yeah. Well, Joshua, it was great having you on the podcast today. I think what you gave us, the HipTrain sounds like it would be great for anybody that would want one-on-one. It's affordable. That's the thing I love about it. And it's not just the same thing, they can tailor it to whatever they need. I mean, you're filling a need that I think has needed to be filled for a long time.
Well, I appreciate it. And Gwen, whenever you want to try it out, you let me know and we'll
I'm already thinking about it. It'll probably be on my rotation. So,
all right. And one thing I didn't mention, Gwen, too, is just for everybody that we actually do let everybody have the first week for free. Oh. So you can try it out there. We don't even ask for your credit card, right? So there's no way that we can bill you, but we just want you to try it out and that's for everybody, right? So we want to, you to be an informed customer that when you decide to do it, that you've been able to see what the magic is. So.
Yeah. So can you tell the listeners where they can go to sign up and any other resources that you have you'd like to know about?
Sure. Yeah. So you can just go to our website. It's just hiptrain.com, HIPTRAIN.com. We are on Instagram, HipTrain Fitness. We have a TikTok, HipTrain. So we'll sometimes post workouts there, and those are obviously free. And sometimes we'll put some stuff on YouTube as well. But yeah, hiptrain.com is the best way. Really, really easy to get started. You just fill out a couple questions. And then we'll pair you with a trainer and you'll get started. And if you like it, you can become a customer and start paying.
Well, thank you, Josh. And I'll put all of that information in the show notes also.
Great.
So thank you again.
Okay. Thanks so much, Gwen.